The world praises strength. Those who have power can get anything they want, and no one can easily shake them. But what does strength mean? Many think a strong person is someone who controls others, bends things to their will, and goes against the flow of the world. But true strength doesn't come from outward force. It comes from deep understanding within. A strong person isn't someone who dominates others, but someone who lives in harmony with nature and masters themselves. The strongest person in the world is like that. First, an influential person knows when to bend. They don't just toss out their emotions carelessly. They listen to others and choose understanding over fighting. They don't force their way, but sometimes step back to create greater harmony. Those who know when to pull back, rather than show off their power, are the ones who stay balanced. When you bend, it's because you don't need to show off. That's why their presence shines bright, and why they don't insist on always being right. Showing off less and staying humble leads to greater success. And those who don't brag are the ones people remember the longest. Second, strong people are like water. Water flows to low places. Always humble and gentle, yet it can overcome anything. When it meets a wall, it goes around it. When it finds a crack, it seeps through. Instead of resisting change, they adapt. Instead of fighting conflict, they flow with it. They don't put themselves above others, and always maintain an open mindset, adapting to the world around them. The greatest virtue is like water. It benefits everything without fighting and stays where others avoid, in the low places. Third, the actual peak of strength is mastering yourself. It takes patience to hold back a word when emotions run high. It takes willpower to recognize and control your desires when they arise. It takes courage to admit your weaknesses without shame, and instead use them as stepping stones to become better. This is real courage and quiet strength. Anyone can conquer others, but the truly strong are those who conquer themselves. An actual person is someone who overcomes themselves, flows like water, and knows when to bend. Though they don't seek attention, they move the world in the most profound ways. They pad, but every step is filled with wisdom. Where they go, there's no conflict, just abundance and genuine peace. Many people misunderstand what brings true happiness. Real happiness isn't from self-satisfaction, but from faithfully acting toward a meaningful life purpose. If you know that everything you build will eventually fall apart, you won't cling too tightly to achievements. And if you understand that life inevitably ends in death, you won't desperately cling to preserving it. There's always a chance of failure when you chase life's goals or accomplishments. Even though we know holding on too tightly only causes more suffering, we still hang on to desire. Similarly, efforts to sustain life are also destined to fail someday, so there's no need to stress over it. Just accept that achievement and loss are two sides of the same coin. Looking at things with balance and not letting yourself get pushed around by unnecessary desires or fears, that's what gives us the strength to face life head on. People say life is short, but that's not just because time is limited, it's mostly because we hardly take time to enjoy it. If you love others, they'll love you back. If you help people, they'll help you in return. Hate others, and they'll hate you too. Hurt others, and they'll hurt you back. You can move mountains, but changing habits is tough. You can fill up the ocean, but it's hard to satisfy greed. A noble person feels embarrassed when their words go beyond their actions. Confucius said, "Be diligent and careful." I've heard that those who know how to govern follow the law and benefit the people, while those who twist the law and harm the people are the ones who cause resentment. When you hold an office governing the people, being fair is best, and when it comes to wealth, being honest is what counts most. So stick to honesty and fairness, and never change your ways. Hiding someone else's good deeds shows kindness, but digging up their faults shows pettiness. Not correcting each other privately but badmouthing each other publicly isn't how close friends get along. When you talk about someone's good qualities, do it like they belong to you. And when you speak about their flaws, act as if those flaws are your own. That's why a gentleman has to be very careful. Taking care of yourself starts with straightening out your heart. If you're angry, you can't speak properly. If you're scared, you can't talk properly. If you're happy, you can't speak properly. And if you're worried, you still can't talk properly. Without a clear heart, you won't see what's there, hear what's said, or even taste your food. That's why taking care of yourself means setting your heart right first. Outstanding people hide their foolishness and don't show off their wisdom, but they never lose their clarity. Pure intentions live on even in the messiest situations. By bending without breaking, they keep themselves steady. That's the real way to navigate a rough world, a safe place to protect yourself. Wise people don't flaunt their abilities, they keep them under wraps and wait for the right moment. Not showing off but using your strengths when it counts is the real key to surviving and succeeding. Life always comes with pain. We get shaken and stumble in waves of unavoidable suffering, but once we accept that pain is a natural part of who we are, calmness starts to seep in. When we don't fight the pain but embrace it, our spirit begins to find a way through it. All the pain we go through is just part of the bridge leading to happiness. If you can't control your heart will control you. A restless heart loses direction, and that confusion fills our lives with darkness. But for the sake of mind and soul, the moment we decide to live, it's like carrying a lantern into a pitch-dark house. No matter how rough or tough the road gets, that light never goes out. Eventually, we'll break through the darkness and find the light of our soul shining bright. Knowing enough is what makes someone truly rich. The truth about life is simple. No matter how much you have, if you always feel lacking, you'll never feel wealthy. On the other hand, those who are satisfied with little have a rich heart. Life is fleeting and empty. You don't have to struggle to have it all, and you don't need to worry if you don't. Peace of mind doesn't depend on having more or less. That calm comes from the attitude we choose to adopt. Don't rush, but don't drag your feet either. Life's like a dance, it needs rhythm and balance. Moments change days, days change lives, and one life can change the world. Live every action as if it's your last, and live every moment sincerely. That's when our lives truly shine. Walking alone, fighting alone, suppressing it all on your own, that's loneliness. Find joy within. In the quiet of the forest, standing alone takes courage, and that's when we truly face ourselves. In that solitude, we finally realize that after all the pain and struggle, the soul clears up, and life fills again with warm light. Kids and younger folks shouldn't make big decisions on their own. No matter how small or big the matter is, they need to talk it over with the adults at home. When you have guests, you can't help but be generous, and when you run the household, you've got to be frugal. A foolish man fears his wife, but a wise woman respects her husband. When managing servants or helpers, you have to look out for their hunger and cold first. When children are dutiful, parents are happy, and when the household is peaceful, everything falls into place. Sometimes, you have to be ready for trouble and watch out for thieves every night. According to the record of reverent behavior, you can tell a family's fortune by when they wake up in the morning and evening. Talking money when getting married? That's just silly. Do hard work with a happy heart, because a joyful mind steps up willingly. Whether a task is fun or not, often, it's less about the nature of the work itself and more about the attitude you bring to it. Like people say, if you belong everywhere, you belong nowhere. When someone's talking, really listen. Most people don't do that. Life is lonely, that's just how it is, because we don't know others well. Don't try to make the whole ocean at once. Rumors are the best kind of introduction. Life's like riding a bike. To keep your balance, you've got to keep moving. Evil deeds trouble you but are easy to do, while good deeds bring peace but are hard to pull off. Those who scatter seeds everywhere won't harvest much anywhere. Giving teaches, and receiving is how you learn. In life, you make a few right decisions but many wrong ones. The way to make friends is to be a friend. A true gentleman carefully considers the place he's about to be in. If you suspect someone's lying, it's best just to act like you believe them. That way, they get bolder, and a big lie exposes the truth about who you are. No matter what dirty tricks come your way, don't suffer over it. See it as new material for studying human nature. Hope means trusting yourself. Luck follows those brave enough to look at themselves in the mirror. Don't lose confidence. Only people who know how to respect themselves can truly respect others. When you're struggling and hurting, the best comfort is to look at someone who's suffering more than you. People can only be their authentic selves when they're alone. Humans are naturally drawn to others who can make up for their mental or physical shortcomings. Over time, we come to know ourselves and realize how different we are from the image we have in our minds, and that discovery often surprises us. Weak-minded people try to get ahead by using money. Ignorance only damages a person's dignity when combined with wealth. Poverty and hardship trap the poor, and hard work replaces knowledge, weighing down their minds. They strive to take control. On the other hand, ignorant rich people chase pleasure and live like animals. The end of their life is like when masks come off at the end of a masquerade ball. Experience the pain that comes with defeat willingly. That's how character is built. Don't speak harshly. That kind of tone always comes with irrational words. Every living being wants to survive, but because those wants aren't fully satisfied, life is painful. The greatest treasure is a cheerful face and a happy heart. Trying to hide your true self by changing your name or tweaking your voice is just a sneaky way to deceive others. Disasters and even bodily harm come from being unkind or lacking virtue. When a noble person gains power or an important position, they must be strict and precise in their behavior, but gentle and calm in their heart. Avoid hanging out with lowly people, even a little, and don't get close to those who are too aggressive or poisonous. When someone honorable holds power or an important role, one must maintain their position through firm and clear actions. However, at the same time, they should keep a gentle and kind heart, avoiding becoming a cold person who only displays authority. Watch out for two extremes: one is getting corrupted or falling into bad company, and the other is bringing trouble on yourself by being stubborn to a fault. The closer you are to power, the more careful you need to be not to get caught up in negative influences and not to trap yourself with excessive stubbornness. This is a key virtue a noble person must have. Those who pride themselves on loyalty and integrity often get criticized because of it. And those who emphasize morality and learning usually face resentment for the same reasons. So, a noble person neither gets involved with evil deeds nor gets swept away by the desire for honor. They should protect themselves by holding on to sincere harmony as their true treasure. Even those who stick to loyalty and integrity can't avoid criticism, and those who emphasize learning and morality may be judged because of it. This is the morally correct path. Even someone just walking can't escape negative judgments from the world. So, a true gentleman doesn't show off his good deeds or seek praise. Stays away from evil actions, and focuses on maintaining a calm and balanced heart. That's the key way to live. Watch out for excessive pride or craving for fame. True virtue is about keeping inner peace and harmony. Often, the weak get trampled, and the substantial gain even more power. When a nation takes from those who already have little and gives more to those who have plenty, that nation is doomed. Locks exist for honest people. Know yourself. That's the starting point of timeless wisdom. For justice to be perfect, it must explain the most profound truth of things and not just replace that truth with superficial traits. Absolute misery is worrying about the future and feeling unhappy before anything bad even happens. Don't advise unless asked. It's often misunderstood as nagging or unnecessary worrying from an older adult. Finding madness in an individual is hard, but in groups, parties, or nations, almost every era has its share of madness. It's better to wear clothes that fit your conscience than ones that just fit your body. Now is the time to work. Now is the time to fight. Now is the time to become a better person. If you can't do it today, how can you do it tomorrow? If you give up thinking, you'll just be struggling to get by. So, the tougher life gets, the more you need to consider and keep believing. Life usually comes down to two things: you can do it, but you don't, or you want to do it, but you can't. Freedom isn't about filling your heart with desires. You get it by controlling those desires. If you gain a fortune without reason, it's not a blessing, it's bound to bring trouble. Exercise done out of obligation doesn't harm the body, but knowledge forced upon you never stays in your heart. Taking revenge on an enemy's insult drags you down to their level, but forgiving puts you above them. Doing what you love most in life doesn't need money. In other words, the most valuable thing we all have is time. People with calm minds speak slowly and with weight, while those who aren't quiet speak quickly and lightly. Listening to music can make you feel lonely, even in a crowd. Crying is a pleasure, too. Traveling doesn't just change where you are, it changes how you think and what you believe. The favorite child in a family often carries the feeling of success their whole life, and that confidence usually leads them to succeed. No matter what situation you're in, don't lose confidence. Confidence makes you stand taller. If you want to make money, you have to be willing to spend some. The present is never our real goal. The past and present are just means, only the future is our true goal. Foolish people rush in without thinking. Wise people never act recklessly. Hard times are shining opportunities for young people. Struggles in youth lay the foundation for growth. Imagination is what we're searching for. We feel and nurture what we already have even more passionately and continuously. Speak thoughtfully, but avoid a harsh tone when explaining laws and principles. Always keep your word. Physical strength can bear weight, but the weight of wisdom can't be measured like that. When a person's virtue and wisdom fully mature, they become like a child again. An old saying goes, people leave their treasure at home but go begging at someone else's door. Another saying warns against boasting if a poor kid suddenly becomes rich. After all, which kitchen fire doesn't produce smoke? One warns against not knowing your possessions, and the other warns against bragging about what you have. Both are things a scholar must be meticulous about. It's foolish to beg outside without realizing the infinite potential and wisdom within yourself. And showing off a sudden burst of success is just empty vanity. A true scholar, you've got to recognize your inner worth and stay humbled and go bragging about what you achieve. Money is something that belongs to everyone, so it should be shared and made available to all. And just like how you eat every day, you need to be mindful and careful with your habits. Morals are also like shared resources, so everyone should practice them. Just like meals you have daily at home, you need to learn and be cautious every day. We make good shoes not because we make anything else, but because that's our focus. What our elders have to teach young people about handling life is this: live by your ideals, but don't let those ideals get lost in daily life. All the problems in this world stem from adhering to outdated customs and prioritizing comfort that is readily available, rather than addressing them with lasting solutions. Love breaks when you confess it, and friendship breaks when there are lies. The longer you live, the longer the shame lasts. People once lifted their heels to look far ahead, but it's never as good as climbing higher and looking down from above. And when you wave your hand from a high place, arms don't actually get longer, but people could see me from far away, and even if I couldn't swim, I could cross the river using a boat. A gentleman isn't born with a nature different from others, he knows how to make good use of outside help. Think with a few, but speak with many. A free person is someone who thinks about life more than death. Someone who's used to always giving to others without expecting anything in return naturally acts with dignity without even realizing it. A wise person never thinks they're truly wise, and even if they believe they show a godlike presence, they never flaunt it. Rewards and punishments are the lowest forms of teaching. I am happy, and if I have any faults, others will surely point them out. Isn't that a good thing? Reading only provides the fuel for growth. Turning it into your own is a matter of how you think. Anyone can make a promise, but keeping that promise is the hard part. If you don't understand something, watching it over and over is better than skipping it. When it comes to educating kids, the most important thing is to spark their desire and interest in learning. Otherwise, it's like raising a donkey carrying books on its back. Actions matter more than words. Act quickly, but speak thoughtfully. It doesn't matter if one person calls you a donkey. If two people say it, you should be worried. And if three say it, then you should buy yourself a saddle. For someone who can't sleep, summer nights feel long, but for someone in need, even a short distance feels far. Even if the cycle of rebirth is extended for a fool, they still can't grasp the truth. Never take small evils lightly. Even if disaster doesn't come right away, tiny drops of water may seem insignificant. However, eventually, they fill a big container. Just like a house shakes if its pillars are weak, if your willpower is weak, your life will be shaky. When the world follows the right path, war horses are retired and used for farming. But when the world is off course, war horses end up in the castle's church. They will have offspring. There's nothing worse than disaster caused by insatiable desire, and no flaw bigger than wanting more and more endlessly. So, knowing how to be content is the most excellent form of abundance. A silent gem moves a woman's heart more than words ever could. There are only two ways to live in this world: living as if miracles don't exist and living as if everything is a miracle. Puny sorrows come with lots of talking, but deep regret stays silent. Don't ever think that time is always waiting for you. Believing that you'll eventually reach your goal no matter how leisurely you walk is wrong. Without giving your all every single day, you won't find fulfillment in that day, and you certainly won't reach your ultimate goal. While I'm still alive, don't let me live my life in vain. Not everyone truly grows up, some get older while remaining like children. Ghosts should be treated with respect, but maintaining a safe distance is wise. Uison refers to one's deceased ancestors. The idea is to respect and honor your ancestors, but don't focus only on the dead. It's wiser to handle everything centered around the living. No pessimist has ever unlocked the secrets of the stars, sailed unknown lands, or opened new horizons of the human spirit. Only when you're with the divine can you bear loneliness. Let the future speak the truth, and judge everyone by their achievements and accomplishments. The present belongs to them. The future I truly work for is mine. Things in the world may start out easygoing, but by the end, people tend to get stingy. If you don't pay attention at the start because it seems insignificant, eventually, it becomes impossible to fix. Life doesn't roll the dice. Conversation isn't just an outlet for ideas but also character. This life is both the glory and the shame of the universe. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. Learning isn't anything fancy. Whether you're doing one task, building a house, crafting a bowl, or researching something, do it correctly and sincerely. Gaining insight is all part of learning. A dirty ground is full of life, but clear water doesn't always have fish. So, a true gentleman should be open-minded and willing to accept what's unpleasant. Don't just stick to what's clean and act all cool about it. Everything in the world thrives in its own way. Just like dirt holds grime but nurtures life, and clear water is pure. But still, like an empty, quiet bowl, a gentleman's heart shouldn't be immaculate but generous enough to embrace diversity. Even a wild horse that can flip a cart can be tamed, and raw iron becomes a valuable tool once it's in the forge. If you're indecisive and don't pull yourself together, you'll never achieve anything. Bexo once said, "It's okay for people to have hardships, but what worries me is a life without any struggles." That's spot on. Obstacles and pain in life help us grow, and without them, we'd get lazy and never truly develop. Living perfectly without any hardships your whole life? That's just impossible. Proper growth in real life come from constantly testing and training yourself, gaining depth in life rather than just living it. When a selfish person leaves a room, it feels like someone else just came in. Pure intention is the shepherd's true nature, the source of all good deeds, and the foundation of every virtue. Mencius student Gong Du asked, "Why is it that some people become great men while others remain petty? Even though we're all just people?" Mencius replied, "Our bodies have a big body and a small body. The big body is the mind, and the small body is the outer part. If you follow the big body, the mind, you become a great person. If you follow the small body, the peripherals, you become a petty one." Gong Du asked again, "Since we're the same, why do some people follow the big body while others follow the small body?" Mencius answered, "Senses like ears and eyes can't think on their own. The outside world just influences them. They only react to the mixed things outside. But only the mind can think. Because it feels, it can understand the world outside, unlike the senses. You don't know unless you experience it. This is something heaven has given us. If you first firmly set your big thing, the mind, then the more minor things like your ears and eyes can't steal it away. A person like this is called a great individual. Nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. What's important is how you deal with that. If you speak according to the correct principles, you might fool some honorable people. But if you go against those principles, you won't be able to fool them. If you want to decide your future, study the old teachings. Think deeply, don't get distracted, practice kindness, and learn the traces of kindness. By doing this, your worries will disappear. Always remember to eliminate your selfish desires. I think, therefore, I am. If a person lives extravagantly, they become disobedient. If they live frugally, they become simple-minded. Being simple-minded is better than being disobedient. Let me repeat it. The world praises strength. Those who are strong can get everything, and no one can easily shake them. But what does strength mean? Many think a strong person is someone who. They think of someone who rules and moves the world according to their own will, going against the natural flow. But real strength doesn't come from outward power, it comes from deep inner understanding. A strong person does not overwhelm others, but one who lives in harmony with nature and controls themselves. The strongest people in the world are like this. First, influential people know how to bend. They don't just spill their emotions recklessly, they listen to others and choose understanding over fighting. They don't force their way, but sometimes step back to create greater harmony. Instead of showing off their power, they know when to step aside, and that's what keeps them steady. Bend your body when pressed. Because they don't show off themselves, their presence shines brighter. Because they don't think they're always right, their flaws become clear. Because they don't brag, they achieve more. Because they don't boast, their name is remembered longer. Second, strong people are like water. Water flows to the lowest place and always. They are humble and gentle, yet nothing can defeat them. Water meets a wall and flows around it, it finds cracks and seeps through. Instead of resisting change, they adapt. Instead of fighting conflict, they go with the flow. They don't put themselves above others and always remain open to learning and adapting to the world around them. The greatest good is like water. Water benefits everything without fighting and stays low where people don't want to be. Third, true strength means conquering yourself. The patience to hold back a word when emotions run high. The will to notice and control desire when it surfaces. The attitude is to accept your weaknesses without shame and use them as stepping stones to become better. This is real courage and quiet strength. A strong person can conquer others, but an influential person conquers. Someone who overcomes themselves flows like water and knows when to bend. That person isn't flashy but moves the world most deeply. They pad, but every step is filled with wisdom. Wherever they go, peace follows. There's always gain and loss, and true peace flows from accepting that. Many people misunderstand what brings real happiness. True happiness doesn't come from just feeling satisfied with yourself, it comes from living faithfully toward a meaningful purpose. If you know that everything you build will eventually break down, you won't be so stubborn about trying to hold on. And if you understand that life always ends in death, you won't cling to it so desperately. When we chase after goals or achievements in life, there's always the chance of failure hidden inside. Even though we know it might hurt, we still hold on to those desires. The same goes for trying to keep life going. Since it's bound to end someday, there's no need to stress over it so much. Just look at life's ups and downs, its achievements and losses, with balance, without pushing yourself into needless craving or fear. That's what will give us the strength to face life fully. People say life is short, but really, it's just not very long. It's not so much the reason that there's hardly any time to enjoy life. If you love others, they'll love you back. If you benefit others, they'll surely help you in return. If you hate others, they'll hate you too, and if you harm others, they'll harm you as well. You can move your cup, but changing habits is tough. You can fill the sea, but greed is hard to satisfy. A gentleman feels embarrassed if his words go beyond his actions. Confucius said, "Be diligent and careful." I've heard that those who know how to manage officials uphold the law and benefit the people, while those who don't twist the law end up harming the people. That's why resentment builds up. When you're in a position governing the people, fairness is best. When you see wealth, integrity is best. Maintain your integrity and fairness, and don't let them be compromised. Hiding others' good deeds is called being wise, but exposing their faults is petty. And there's no point in scolding each other behind closed doors. Talking behind each other's backs doesn't help keep good relationships. When you talk about someone's good points, act like those good things belong to you. When you talk about someone's faults, act like you're taking those faults onto yourself. That's why a true gentleman has to be careful. They say that improving yourself starts with setting your mind straight. If you're angry, scared, happy, or worried, your words won't come out right. If your heart isn't in it, you won't really see, hear, or taste anything properly. That's why self-discipline is all about getting your mind right. A great person hides their foolishness, doesn't show off their wisdom, but never loses clarity. They remain calm even in chaos and utilize flexibility to stay strong. That's the way to navigate a harsh world safely and protect yourself. That's how to live wisely in this world. People don't show off their abilities, they keep them hidden and wait for the right moment. The real secret to survival and success is not flaunting what you have but using it when it truly counts. Life always comes with pain. We get shaken and stumble through those unavoidable waves of suffering. However, once we accept that pain is a natural part of being, we begin to feel a calm, gentle light creeping in. When we don't deny pain but embrace it, our soul begins to find a way forward through it. Every hurt we go through is just a part of the bridge leading to happiness. If you can't control your mind will control you. A restless mind loses its way, and that confusion fills our lives with darkness. But the moment you decide to live for your mind and soul, it's like bringing a lantern into a pitch black house. Even if the path is challenging and exhausting, that light never goes out. In the end, you'll break through the darkness and find the bright light of your soul. Those who know their limits are wealthy. That's the truth of the world. It's simple. No matter how much you have, if you always feel like it's not enough, you'll never truly be wealthy. On the flip side, someone who's content with little has a rich heart. Life itself is empty and meaningless. You don't have to struggle to hold on to things, and you don't have to stress over what you've achieved. Peace of mind isn't about how much you own. That calm comes from the attitude you choose. You shouldn't rush or drag your feet, either. Life, like a dance, needs rhythm and balance. Moments change days, days change lives, and lives change the world. So, live every action like it's your last. When you live every moment with sincerity, that's when life truly begins. Those who walk alone, struggle alone, and push themselves alone find joy in solitude. In the quiet of the forest, standing brave and alone, we find ourselves. And in that solitude, we finally realize that at the end of all pain and struggle, the soul clears up, and life fills once again with warm light. To all the people beneath us and the children, no matter how big or small the issue, don't make decisions alone, always talk it over with the elders at home. When hosting guests, you've got to be generous, but when running the household, you can't be wasteful. Foolish men fear their wives, while wise women respect their husbands. When managing servants or workers, ensure they're not hungry or cold first. When kids show respect, parents feel happy, and when the family is peaceful, everything falls into place. Always be ready for arguments, and at night, watch out for thieves. According to the record of vigilance, the times people get up and go to bed can reveal a lot about their household's fortune. Bringing up money during marriage talks is barbaric. Tackle challenging tasks with a joyful heart. Joy comes from taking the initiative willingly. Whether a task is fun or not often depends more on your attitude than the work itself. As people usually say, belonging to everything means belonging to nothing. When someone is talking, listen fully. Most people don't hear others. Life is loneliness, that's what it is. Because life is unpredictable, don't try to create an ocean all at once. Word of mouth is the best recommendation. Life's like riding a bike, you've got to keep moving to stay balanced. Doing bad things troubles you, but they feel easy. Doing good things feels right, but can be tough. If you scatter seeds everywhere, you won't harvest anything anywhere. Those who give teach, those who receive learn. In life, the right decisions are rare, wrong ones are common. The way to make friends is to be a friend. A wise person carefully considers where they'll end up. If you suspect someone's lying, it's best to pretend you believe them. That way, they get bolder and end up exposing themselves to even bigger lies. No matter what ugly things happen to you, don't suffer over them. See them as new material for understanding human nature. Hope means trusting yourself. Luck follows those brave enough to look at themselves in the mirror. Don't lose your confidence. Only someone who knows how to respect themselves can truly respect others. When life gets challenging and painful, the best comfort is to look at those who are suffering even more than you. People can only be their authentic selves when they're alone. Humans are naturally drawn to others who can help make up for their mental or physical shortcomings. Over time, we come to understand ourselves better and realize just how different the person we think we are is from who we are. And that realization often surprises us. Weak-minded people try to get ahead by chasing money. Ignorance combined with wealth is what drags a person's character down. Poverty and hardship trap the poor, and hard work replaces knowledge, filling their minds. On the other hand, ignorant rich people chase pleasures and live like animals. The later stages of life are like a masquerade ball where the mask finally comes off at the end. Choose to face the pain that comes with defeat willingly. That's how character is built. Don't speak harshly or loudly, those are always unkind words. Everything in this world comes with its struggles. Every living thing has a strong will to live, but because that will isn't fully satisfied, life becomes painful. The greatest treasure is a cheerful expression and a happy heart. Trying to hide your true self by changing your name or altering how you present yourself comes from a desire to trick others with crafty words from the start. Disasters happen, and even injuries occur because people act without kindness. When a noble person holds power or an important position, they must conduct themselves with strictness and clarity while maintaining a gentle and calm heart. Don't get close to lowly people, even a little, and avoid those who are reckless or poisonous. A noble person in power must protect their position through firm and clear actions, but at the same time, maintain a kind and gentle spirit, and refrain from becoming a cold person who only shows authority. Beware of two extremes. One is getting corrupted or falling into ruin by hanging with bad company. And the other is bringing trouble on yourself by being stubborn to a fault. The closer you are to power, the more careful you have to be not to get caught up in bad influences or stubbornness that drags you down. This is a key quality a noble person should have. Someone who sticks rigidly to loyalty or principles often gets criticized because of it. And those who pride themselves on morals or knowledge can face resentment for the same reason. So, a true gentleman not only avoids evil but also doesn't get swept up by fame or honor. He should treasure a calm and balanced spirit to keep himself steady. Even those who uphold loyalty and honor can't escape criticism, and people who value learning and morals often get judged because of that, too. This shows that even walking the correct moral path doesn't guarantee escaping the world's negative opinions. That's why a noble person doesn't show off their good deeds or seek praise but stays away from wrongdoing and keeps a gentle and harmonious heart. They watch out for over-the-top pride or greed for status and focus on inner peace and balance above all. That's what true virtue is. Often, the weak are stepped on, and the substantial gain more power. When you take even more from those who already have little and give it to those who have plenty, that's how a nation falls apart. Locks exist for honest people. Know yourself, that's the starting point of eternal wisdom. For justice to be called perfect, it must explain the deepest essence of things without just swapping it out for their traits. The sad thing is being anxious about the future and feeling unhappy before any real misfortune even happens. Don't advise unless you're asked. It just comes off as nagging or unwarranted worry, especially from older folks. It's rare to find madness in an individual, but in groups, parties, nations, and eras, madness is almost always present. It's better to wear clothes that fit your conscience than ones that just fit your body. Now is the time to work. Now is the time to fight. Now is the time to become a better version of myself. If you can't do it today, can you do it tomorrow? If you give up thinking, you'll just be scrambling to get by. So, the tougher life gets, the more you need to consider and keep believing. Life usually comes down to two things: you can do something but don't, or you want to do it but can't. Freedom isn't about filling your heart with desire. You only get it by controlling those desires. Suppose you suddenly come into a fortune without reason. In that case, that's not a blessing, it's likely a big trouble waiting to happen. Exercising because you have to doesn't harm your body, but learning something by force won't stick in your mind. Getting revenge for an insult drags you down to the enemy's level. But forgiving puts you above them. Doing what you love most in life doesn't need money. That's the one thing we all have that's truly valuable: time. Calm people speak with weight and quiet confidence, while restless folks talk fast and light. Listening to music in a crowd can make you feel lonely. Crying can be a kind of relief. Traveling doesn't mean just changing where you live. It's about changing our thoughts and biases. Someone who was the family's absolute darling carries the feeling of success their whole life, and that confidence often leads them to even more success. No matter what situation you're in, don't lose your confidence. Confidence makes you stand tall. If you want to make money, you have to spend money. The present is never our true goal. The past and present are just means, and only the future is our real purpose. Foolish people rush in headfirst, acting without thinking. Wise people always think things through before they act. Hardship is a shining opportunity for young people. Struggling in youth is the foundation for growth. Imagination makes us crave what we're looking for even more passionately than what we already have, and it keeps nurturing that desire. Think deeply before you speak, but don't sound harsh. Explain the law and reason clearly, and always stick to what you say. Weight can be carried, but the weight of intelligence cannot be measured. A person's virtue and wisdom are complete. When a person matures, they become like a child again. An old saying goes: people ignore the endless treasures in their own homes and instead look for something valuable outside their door. Another saying warns not to boast just because a poor kid suddenly becomes rich after all. Whose kitchen fire doesn't give off some smoke? The first warns against being unaware of what you already have, the second cautions against showing off what you do have. These are lessons anyone studying knowledge should take seriously. It's foolish to beg outside without realizing the infinite potential and wisdom inside yourself. And boasting about sudden success is just empty vanity. A scholar should recognize their inner worth and stay humble without bragging about their achievements. Money is something shared by all, so it should be handled in a way that benefits everyone. The anus is like the daily food we eat, something we must be mindful and careful with. Morality is a kind of public good, so everyone should be guided to practice it. The anus is like a daily meal at home. You should understand it every day and be careful with it. Good shoes are made because nothing else gets made besides shoes. What we elders need to teach young people is to live in reality according to ideals and not let daily life snatch away their ideals. All the problems in this world stem from clinging to outdated customs and pursuing easy comfort, rather than addressing issues thoroughly. Love breaks when confessed, and friendship breaks from lies. The longer life goes, the longer shame lasts. Once, I stood on my tiptoes to look far ahead, but it wasn't as good as climbing somewhere high and looking down from above. Waving your hand from up high doesn't make your arm longer, but people can see you better from far away. Even if you can't swim, you can cross a river by using a boat. A noble person isn't born with a different nature. They make good use of outside help. Think with the few, but speak with the many. A free person values life more than death. I'm someone who thinks a lot. A person who is accustomed to giving to others without expecting anything in return naturally ends up acting with dignity without even realizing it. A wise person never thinks of themselves as wise, and even if they were to show a godlike image, they wouldn't flaunt it. Rewards and punishments are the lowest forms of teaching. I am happy. If I ever have flaws, others will surely point them out. That's a good thing. Reading supplies the materials for growth. Making it your own takes the power of thinking. Anyone can make promises, but keeping them is another story. If you come across something you don't understand while reading, you should go over it again instead of just skipping it. When educating children, the most important thing is to awaken their desire and interest in studying. Otherwise, it's like raising a donkey that ignores books. Actions speak louder than words. Act swiftly, but talk carefully. Even if one person calls you a fool or a genius, it doesn't matter. If 2 people say it, you should worry. If 3 say it, you should buy a saddle for yourself. For those who can't sleep, summer nights feel long. For those in need, even a short distance feels far. A fool may live many lifetimes but never truly grasp the truth. Don't take small evils lightly. Even if disasters don't come right away, tiny drops of water, though insignificant, will eventually fill a large container. Just like a weak pillar makes a house shake, a weak spirit makes life unstable. When the world is in harmony, warhorses are retired and used for farming. But when the world is out of balance, warhorses will give birth in the city's churchyards. Nothing is a bigger disaster than not knowing contentment, and no fault is greater than endless desire. Therefore, learning how to be content is the most incredible wealth. Silent gems speak more deeply to a woman's heart than living words. There are 2 ways to live in this world. That's all there is. Living means understanding that there are no miracles. and living as if everything is a miracle. Slight sadness is talkative, but great sorrow is silent. Don't ever think time is always waiting for you. Believing that no matter how slowly you walk, you'll eventually reach your destination is wrong. If you don't give your all each day, that day won't feel worthwhile, and you'll never get your ultimate goal. While I'm still alive, let me live without wasting my time. Not everyone grows up, some just age like kids. Respect ghosts, but keep them at a distance, that's wisdom. Ancestors are the spirits of the dead, and while you should honor them, the focus should be on the living when handling life's affairs. That's a wise way. No pessimist has ever discovered the secrets of the stars, sailed unknown lands, or opened new horizons of the human spirit. Only by being with God can one endure loneliness. Here it is, let the future reveal the truth, and judge each person based on their achievements and accomplishments. The present belongs to them. The future I truly work hard for is mine. Things in life may start out easygoing, but they tend to become demanding and harsh in the end. Yet, if you ignore the minor signs early on, it can become impossible to fix later. I don't roll the dice. Conversation is not just an outlet for ideas but also a reflection of character. This life is both the glory and the insult of the universe. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. Learning isn't complicated, whether you're doing one thing, building a house properly, crafting a single bowl with care, or researching something thoroughly, these are all part of learning. Dirty soil supports much life, but clear water doesn't always have fish. So, a true gentleman should have the breadth to accept dirt and imperfections, not just stick to what's pure and act aloof. Everything in the world is complete in its own way. You gain it, just like soil holds dirt to nurture life, and clear water is like a pure but empty vessel. A noble person's heart shouldn't be immaculate but open enough to accept variety. Even a wild horse that can flip a cart can be tamed and ridden, and raw iron, once placed in a furnace, becomes a valuable tool. If you're indecisive and don't take action, you'll never achieve anything in life. Bexa said, as a person, having hardships is nothing to be ashamed of, but my worry is to go through life without any hardships. That's truly wise. Obstacles and difficulties in life serve as chances to grow. Without pain and discomfort, we'd likely become lazy and real growth wouldn't be possible. Living flawlessly without a single hardship isn't as meaningful as constantly challenging yourself. Toughening up, and gaining depth through life's trials, that is proper growth and genuine life. When a sloppy person leaves a room, it feels like someone else has come in. Sincere mindfulness is the shepherd's duty, the source of all good deeds, and the foundation of every virtue. Gongdu, a disciple of Mencius, asked, since all people are essentially the same, why do some people become great individuals while others remain petty? Mencius answered, the body has a big part and a small part. The big part is the mind, and the small part is the peripheral body. If you follow the big part, the mind, you become a great person. If you follow the small, peripheral part, you end up petty. Gong Du Ya asked, even though it's the same person, why do some follow the big part and others the small part? Mencius replied, senses like eyes and ears can't think on their own, they just get influenced by things outside. Outside things mix and affect the senses, that's all. But the mind is different, it thinks. Because it thinks it can understand things beyond its understanding. Without thinking, it can't know anything. This is a gift from heaven. If you first firmly establish the big part, the mind, then the smaller parts, such as your eyes and ears, can't take over. Such a person is called a great person. Nothing lasts forever, everything changes. What matters is how you handle that. Speak what's right. A clever trick might fool a good person for a moment, but going against what's right won't ever fool them. To make wise choices, study the ancient teachings. Think deeply, don't get distracted, practice kindness, and learn from those who showed it before you. Doing this will ease your worries. Always remember to let go of selfish desires. I think, therefore, I am. When people get too extravagant, they lose their sense of obedience. When they're frugal, they might seem dull. But being boring is better than being disobedient. Thanks for watching.